I guess all the time, how do I flip houses? How do I get started? How do I make more money at it? And really, we're privileged to have an expert come to LA to talk about how to flip houses the right way. Don Costa. Don, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, and I'm doing good. And by expert, hopefully you mean I made all the mistakes and learned all the lessons.
Exactly. So we're going to learn the mistakes from you so we can just have all the profit. So just
Right.
real quick, person, where are you located these days?
I'm in the Central Valley. I'm actually in Fresno.
Oh, nice. The Central Valley, the Beverly Hills part of California. Okay. And how long have you been in real estate and what got you into it initially?
I have actually been in real estate for 20 years this year. I started in 2003, door knocking pre-foreclosures. I
Wow.
got into it. I mean, there's a longer story to it, but I got into it basically. I just couldn't fit into the box of a job. I couldn't. The time clock was like a prison for me. I had tried different entrepreneurial journeys, and I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And real estate, it was the widget. It's what I found to be what works for me. So 2003.
Did you start initially as an investor or as a real estate agent, or what you in 2003? What did you start as?
I started as a real estate investor. I actually started as a fix and flipper. I started door knocking pre
Oh,
foreclosures. Yeah,
oh,
I would
wow.
spend 4 hours, 5 hours a day in my car just door knocking pre foreclosures, and that's how I got started.
So you've been on that path for, it sounds like a while, almost 20 years, or maybe 20 years or longer. So now nowadays you have your flip talk. So describe what's your primary focus today. Are you still a flipper? You have a team of people. What is it that you're doing today?
Yeah, I mean, I have an operation. It's been at different sizes through the years. It's not as large as it once was. I'm focused on a handful of different things now. I have the podcast called Flip Talk. We still wholesale, fix and flip. We do some buy and hold. I run a mastermind community and an education program, and I just bought a software company. I'm not gonna name it yet, but I'm gonna announce it soon. But I bought a software company in the real estate space. So I'm one of your traditional entrepreneurs trying not to chase shiny objects. And but at the heart and core, I'm a real estate investor, and a fix and flipper is what I've done for years.
Great. The main reason we're interviewing, I got the opportunity, is that you're coming to LA a week from Thursday on February. Ooh, I should know the day off the top of my head. See, first, second, 9th in Los Angeles. And the Wednesday before that, the 8th in Ventura at the LA County Real Estate Investors Association. This is a free event. So if you're interested in learning more and seeing Don in person, we get about 250 people at the event typically when they give the presentation. And then before that, we have a vendors expo. That's not the right picture of it, where we have about 50 different vendors who are there to offer their services. And then this is Don and a promo. He'll be speaking on how to fix and flip houses the right way, March 9th. And if you want more information, you go to LAProbate.com for those details. So just give us a little taste of what you're going to talk about on next Thursday. I'm sure you say you have an education program. You've been at it for a while, like me. You know, people come to you and come back a year or two later and haven't done anything. What do you see as the biggest impediment to helping people get started, that first step, and get that first property and start their own experience train?
Belief. I mean, belief at the end of the day, I think is one of the biggest issues. People are so afraid of making mistakes, they don't take action. And the only way that you can really learn is to get your hands dirty. The only reason I got even remotely good at what I do when it comes to fixing and flipping is because I made all the mistakes and I wasn't afraid to make the mistakes. So at the end of the day, it's that lack of confidence, that belief. And I think that's our job, now, as I think people who have made it in the real estate investing space, or at least been in it for a while, is to give people that confidence that it's okay to make a few mistakes and that they're very capable of doing it.
It reminds me of a scene from the movie The Band of Brothers, where one of the sergeants says to one of the, I think, privates, your problem is you don't realize it yet. You're already dead. Once you accept you're dead, then you can act as a soldier appropriately. And I think in real estate, if you understand you're going to lose some money, you're going to have a deal where I mean, I've lost everything in my business, 20 years ago. It had to start from scratch. And again, probably lost a lot, maybe about 10, 12 years ago. And it's tough. It hurts. It's painful. But as a result, you learn from that. So let's talk about some of the most common mistakes people make. Obviously, your job is to help them avoid some of them. They're going to make other mistakes. What's the most common mistake you see people make in their practice when they get started?
Again, not taking action is one of the mistakes they make. If you're fixing and flipping, sometimes, I would say that one of the bigger mistakes, I wouldn't say sometimes, one of the bigger mistakes is giving away your power. Not taking some time to kind of educate yourself on the process, not taking your power, not holding your power when you're having a conversation with contractors, not holding your power when you're having conversations with private lenders, and really just not not being focused on what you're doing. So many people want to automate and push button and not go to the job and look at it, or not be part of the process. And I think that's a huge mistake. Early on, you got to get that foundation and understand what people are doing and why they're doing it. You got to know what you're doing before you automate, if that makes sense. I think people try to automate
100%.
things too soon. Absolutely.
100%. It's, you have to have your process, then you automate your process, not buy a process that doesn't work. Then you're efficient at what doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense at all. Great insight. Geographically, you're in Fresno. Is your business as a flipper limited to Fresno or the Central Valley, or do you work multiple markets? How do you decide where you do flip properties and where you don't?
We wholesale nationally. We wholesale in multiple states. We do wholesale as well. We wholesale up and down California. Most of the rehabbing is done in the Central Valley. We went as far as like Oakland and Sacramento, which is about 3 hours from us. Why we do it successfully, I don't love having projects that far away. I'm more of, I don't want to say a control guy. I'm a path of least resistance guy, and I like to put systems and processes in place. But part of having systems and processes is being able to hold people accountable. And so because of that, we try to maintain most of our flips within about an hour and a half radius. So an hour and a half north, hour and a half south. And we try to maintain kind of close to home. We do stuff if it's the right project outside of our home market. I've done stuff as far as Oregon, fix and flip. But again, I did lose everything in 2008. I probably have a very similar story to you. So I'm very much, let's just make sure we have some controls in place.
So it sounds like your flipping is mostly geographically, we can get control that, whereas wholesaling, you can do that anywhere. You can do it virtually or across the country.
100%. Absolutely.
Most investors I talk to, when they say they flip, but they also do wholesaling, really the wholesaling seems to be a way to monetize your lead generation, meaning you have some system that's feeding you the leads you really want, the flip leads. You get some that really aren't what you want, but you can wholesale it, make some money, and it kind of keeps you in the network and keeps your, is that kind of how you look at wholesaling, or is wholesaling a separate profit center that you really look to drive?
You know, that's a great question. Wholesaling really is a separate business. If you don't look at it that way, you're going to run into problems. That's something that I learned early on. We didn't start wholesaling until 2018. In 2018, I sent out 1.2 million postcards. So I really upped my marketing to sellers, and wholesaling was a component. Like you said, we wanted to monetize leads that didn't make sense to us. I was one of those guys going, why are they buying that? Doesn't make any sense. Why are they buying that? That doesn't make any sense. And then I was like, wait a minute, why am I not selling that to them? So,
exactly.
So we started monetizing leads that didn't make sense to us, and while we kept the rehabs. But you got to be careful with that, because if you're trying to do both and you don't have the right kind of mindset in place, one can cannibalize the other, really fast.
How does it cannibalize? How does the wholesale, because you're wholesaling instead of flipping, you should be flipping it, but you're getting kind of taking the lazy way out of it. Is that what you mean by cannibalize?
Partly you got the quick money versus the long money. And there obviously is a thought process behind that. Sometimes the quick money is better financially when you do the math on the time you're going to be in the long money, but also team wise, you have an acquisitions person on your team. So if you're running a team, and they could work a little harder in negotiation with the seller to get it where you need to be at a flip.
Exactly.
Or they could be like, well, I got the seller to here and we can wholesale it and make 10 grand. So I'm not going to put the work in to get any further. And so it's one of those things where you can set if you're not careful, you can set your team up for failure in that sense when they have the ability to get it where you need to get it to flip it. So
a lot of people, I'm a lifer at this business. I've been in it since 1986. I don't have any other options. I don't want any other options. I feel sorry for people who aren't in real estate. When I go to a party, I feel sorry for them. Oh, you do that. That's too bad. I'm in real estate. But I see people who aren't in it yet and considering it either as a side hustle or to invest passively, or invest money outside their job, that they're so focused on the cycle that they get paralyzed. What would you say to that person who they're an engineer or they're a whatever, they make good money, they make more than they need to spend, they have money put away, they're in the stock market, they're hating life there. I have money in the stock market, I hate it. I have money in bonds, I hate it. I have real estate with all the challenges, still love it. What would you say to that person who is on the sidelines saying, oh my God, the market's going to fall apart, I don't want to invest now? How do you help them understand that this is like the best buying opportunity, in a while for me, I think?
It's like you were saying, it's a mindset thing. It's how you look at things. I got caught in 2008 because I had ego and I didn't have the right circle around me and I wasn't getting the right advice. And I thought no matter what happens, I'm going to basically be able to conquer every market. Instead of sitting back and looking at what are the changes in the market, how do I need to adapt to the changes, and how do I take advantage of the opportunities that are going to present themselves. And so if you're looking at it from fear, you're looking at it the wrong way. You should be getting advice from the right circle. You should be sitting back and looking at the opportunities and looking at the changes and looking at how to time the changes. Real estate is about how to time the changes in the market, whether they're changing in how sellers respond to marketing, there are changes in sellers' mindset. Like right now, sellers think their properties are worth more than they actually are at the moment to a certain degree because it was a hot market for a while, so you got to adapt in different ways. And as long as you're willing to adapt to those changes, you're going to do really, really well. I mean, it's not a perfect science. We're probably going to get our butt handed to us every once in a while. Like you said, you've had it happen to you and I've had it happen to me. But if we're running a good business, we're not a bottleneck, we're paying attention and getting good advice, you're going to do well.
I tell people when they want to start, not me, because I don't help in that regard, other than I try to introduce people like you to my audience, which is find somebody that you like, trust, respect, cling to them, invest along with them. You look at some of your investment money as tuition, in a sense that you may lose some money, you may not make a lot, but it's the education that's viable in the long run. And I see you as one of those people. And I think there's a certain personality, just like, Baskin Robbins has 31 flavors. You're one flavor that some people will, you appeal to, and others you don't. Okay, but the ones that do should feel free to get a chance to find out more about you. So, somebody wants to know more about you. Your podcast is Flip Talk. Talk a little bit about what's your message on Flip Talk. What are you trying to help people understand who watch your program or listen to your program?
So, I mean, our message is a lot about, you can do it. We've talked to a lot of people who are just getting started to advanced investors. The conversation is really, I guess, if I wanted to articulate properly, I'm not looking for people who are full of it. I'm looking for people who are actually doing the business, and those are the people I interview. So I love having those conversations with higher level investors, talk about what they're actually doing right now that's going to be effective in their business. We also talk about struggles. We talk about some of the things, the lessons we learned, and some of the things that we went through. And then from time to time, I do Q&As with people who have never done anything in the business. They just want to come on and ask me questions for 30 minutes. So it's kind of a hodgepodge of information. I've been doing it since 2016. The podcast has been around for 7 years now. There's a ton of content, a ton of information in that podcast. We have a series called the Flip Talk Rookie Playbook. It's a separate podcast that starts from week one. I have a crazy idea. I want to be a real estate investor. Where do I even start? And we take 49 weeks and we unpack it. And it's not a sales pitch or anything. It's literally, we're unpacking what you do from I have a crazy idea to week 49. And it's there for you to listen to. So Flip Talk and Flip Talk Rookie Playbook are both great resources.
Great. Now, those are great resources if you're national, but if you're local in Southern California, again, a week from Thursday on February 9th, Don's speaking live and free at it's the Iman Center. It's in Culver City area we call West Los Angeles on Motor Avenue. And he's going to talk about the flip and how to fix and flip houses the right way. We say 6:30 because there's a vendors expo. There's about 50 vendors, and one of them, you can meet professionals who can help you as you start or build your business in real estate. And then he'll be speaking around 7:30-ish or so. We get about 250 people in the room. We have about 50 vendors. Again, it's free parking if you get there early enough. Don, thank you so much for sharing with us today. I look forward to seeing you. Again, it's Thursday the 9th in LA, and then Wednesday the 8th in Ventura. I think it's actually in Oxnard, Ventura County, but I think it's actually in the city of Oxnard. So I look forward to seeing you on the 9th. Don, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Looking forward to it.